Hello everyone, I am Uma Mallikarjun. Welcome back to my channel Prakriya Educations. This is 5th out of 6 modules of matrices. In this module, we shall learn about elementary operations on matrices, invertible matrices, and how to find the inverse of a 2 cross 2 matrix using elementary row operation as well elementary column operations. The first topic of the module is about elementary operations or elementary transformations of a matrix. We have got 6 elementary transformations. Out of that, the first, third and the fifth are called as elementary row operations, and second, fourth and sixth are called as elementary column operations. We can use either of row or column operations. It's left to our preference. We shall take the first two in the first stage. That is, the first to indicate the interchange of any 2 rows or any 2 columns of a given matrix. If I'm taking some matrix A, for example, now if I prefer to change R1 and R3, if I'm interchanging the row 1 and the row 3, then we get a completely new matrix as the first row will be interchanged to the third row and the third row will be changed to the first row, and hence we get the new matrix as 7, 8, 9, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. You can also notice that we haven't changed the second row, it remains as it is, right? Now, in case, this is my first preference, in case if I prefer another operation, like if I have to change R2 and R3, if I am changing R1 and R2 and R3, then our matrix will be first row remains as it is in this given matrix. Now, the second row will be interchanged to third and the third will be interchanged to the second, and hence we get the new matrix like this. Similarly, you can also apply the operation like R1 interchanges to R2. Then what will the new matrix be? We get the new matrix as this one. These are the 3 possibilities for the row operations, that is interchanging any 2 rows. If Ri is one row and Rj is another row, then we can interchange any 2 rows at a time. Then for the column operations, you can do in the similar pattern. For example, if I am willing to change C1 column to C3 and C3 column to C1, then our new matrix will be the second row remains, the second column remains as it is, only the first column and the third column will be interchanged, and hence the new matrix will be 3, 6, 9. The second column remains as it is and the first column will be our third column now. In the same pattern, you can interchange any 2 rows or any 2 columns as per your preference in the given problem. Let's now learn about the next operation. These 2 operations indicate that you can multiply any given row or any given column by a non-zero number. Let us understand this using a small example. Let me take a matrix. If I wish to multiply R2 by 2, then we get a new matrix as R1 do not change, only R2 is changing, and multiply every element of R2 by 2. You need to multiply every element of R2 by 2, and hence we get this as our new matrix. Similarly, if we wish to apply another transformation for R1, like if I want to multiply R1 by -5 to R1, then our new matrix would be And also remember, the second row does not change. Okay, I'll take another operation C1 and I multiply C1 by minus, just minus. Then we get a new matrix as, I'm just multiplying C1 by negative sign, which is nothing but minus 1. Now if I'm multiplying minus into every element of C1, then we get minus 1, minus 4. All the other columns remains as it is without changing. These are some of the operations that I have shown. Again, you can use any operation that you prefer to apply. And also another thing that you have to remember, in the matrix we had learnt about scalar multiplication of a matrix. If I'm having a matrix C is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in the scalar multiplication I would multiply with some non-zero number 5 into C, that is I can multiply 5 to every element of the given matrix, and hence we get a new matrix like 5, 10, 15, 20. This would be our new matrix while we multiply by a scalar to the whole matrix. But here we are multiplying individual rows or individual columns by some non-zero constant, and hence you have to remember that a scalar multiplication to a matrix is not equal to the scalar multiplication to row or a column. You have to remember this, and hence you cannot take common after you multiply an individual row by a scalar. Moving on to the next two operations. These two operations denotes that you can add or subtract any two rows or any two columns. For example, if I'm taking a matrix, now I wish to change R1 as I'm adding R1 and R3. Then our new matrix will be, the first row will be changing, the second and the third row remains unchanged. And remember that when you're adding, take the first element of the first row. I'm taking the first element and I have the elementary transformation as I need to add every element of R1 with the corresponding elements of R3. And hence the first element of the new matrix would be 1 plus the corresponding element of 1 in R3 is 2. Therefore, 1 plus 2, we get the new element as 3. Similarly, taking the second element and its corresponding element in R3, adding those, we get 8. The similar fashion, the third element also, taking these two elements, adding both, we get a new element as 1. And also the second row remains unchanged and the third row also remains unchanged. Right? Now, if I am operating in another way, like I am taking the operation for the third row and I am operating it as R1 minus twice R3. If this is my elementary transformation for the same matrix A, I am writing the matrix again. Now the changed matrix will be, now I am changing only the third row, the first row remains as it is and as well the second row. The third row will be changing according to this operation. Now take the first element of R1, okay, and its corresponding element in R3, since in the transformation I am having R3. Now applying this transformation to the elements, we get R1, that is 1 minus twice R3 is 2, and hence we get 1 minus 4, which gives us minus 3, and hence the new element will be minus 3. Similarly, taking the next two elements, the first element of the first row and as well its corresponding element in the third row, applying the transformation 5 minus 2 times 3, That gives us 5 minus 6, which is equal to minus 1, and hence our new element will be minus 1. Similarly for these two elements also, and hence we get the new element as minus 2. This is how we change any given two rows or any two columns using elementary operations. Here I am adding two rows and I am changing the matrix. Here I am having the difference between any two rows, and also you can notice I have also multiplied with a scalar to one row, and then I have subtracted two rows. In the same pattern you can also do it for the column operations also. I shall take another operation. Okay, the third one, I wish to change R2. I'll change R2 as, I'll add R1 and R2 and subtract by R3. And you can also have, I'll also multiply R2 by 2. Okay, this is my operation now. Now, what will be our new matrix? I'm not changing the first row, it remains as it is. I'm also not changing the third row, it remains as it is. Only the second row will be now changing. Now, according to our elementary transformation, look at the working. Take the first element of the matrix, 1 plus 2 into its corresponding element in R2 is minus 7 minus R3. Its corresponding element in R3 is 2. Simplifying this, we get minus 15. And similarly for the other two elements also, take the first element of R1, 5 plus 2 times R2, 6 minus R3, 3. Simplify this, we get the element as 14. Then similarly for the next element, after simplifying that, we get the new element as 5. In the same pattern, you can use any of these 6 elementary transformation and or all these 6 elementary transformations to manipulate the given matrix according to your preference. The problem is completely open-ended. The next topic is invertible matrices. Look at the definition. If A is a square matrix of order M, and if there exists another square matrix B of the same order M such that AB is equal to BA is equal to I, where I is the identity matrix of the same order again, then we call B is the inverse of A and we denote B as A inverse. And then A is said to be an invertible matrix. Looking at a small example, I shall take two matrices A and B and I shall try to find the multiplication, that is AB. We get AB as an identity matrix I and also BA an identity matrix I, and hence you can conclude that AB and BA are equal to each other and equal to an identity matrix I, and hence you can tell that B is inverse of A and similarly A is also inverse of B. Whenever B is said to be inverse of A, then A will be also inverse of B, and hence we can write B is equal to A inverse, and similarly A will be equal to B inverse. Now we shall learn how to find the inverse of a given matrix using the elementary transformations. Before entering into that, please remember that the rectangular matrices will never possess the inverse because AB and BA should be defined and has to be equal to each other. And also remember that all the square matrices do not have inverses. Only a few square matrices possess the inverse. And also, if the inverse exists, it will be always unique. If for a square matrix, the inverse, if it exists, it will be always a unique inverse. As we had already learned that we have got two types of elementary transformations. One is elementary row operations and the other one elementary column operations. For the elementary row operations, start with the step A is equal to I into A, then continue with a sequence of elementary row operations, and in the final step you have to convert the given matrix A as the identity matrix. When you're converting this to the identity matrix, you will get a very new matrix here in the RHS, and we shall call it as B, and A remains as it is. This new matrix B is nothing but the inverse of the matrix A. For the column operations, the first step will be A is equal to A into I, then continue with the sequence of elementary column operations, and the last step you end with I is equal to A into B, and hence B is nothing but the A inverse that we get. Also remember that you have to apply either the sequence of elementary row operations or the elementary column operations. Please do not mix both elementary column and row in a single problem. We shall now solve a problem using elementary transformations to find the inverse of this matrix. Now, firstly, I shall use the elementary row operations, and then we shall use the elementary column operations for the same matrix, and then check whether the answers will be equal to each other. Now, starting with the elementary row operations, as I said before, we have to start elementary row operations as A is equal to I into A. Now the matrix A given, substitute, is equal to the identity matrix of the same order into A. Now we have to use the sequence of elementary transformations in order to make this matrix an identity matrix. We have to convert this matrix as an identity matrix. Now I have got a very simple trick or a very simple pattern to go along to convert this matrix as identity matrix. Consider this pattern. If we have got 2 cross 2 matrix, then we shall start with this element. Make this 0 because the identity matrix is nothing but 1, 0, 0, 1. Now start with this element, make it 0, go to its diagonal element, make that 0, come back to the first element, make it 1, and then for the last element to make it as 1. It's simple that first I am converting the secondary diagonal elements as 0 and then convert the diagonal elements as 1, right? Now, and also while writing the elementary transformations for the operations, many students struggle to write the operations, and hence I have got a very simple trick to write the transformation here. Now, first step is to make this element as 0. Okay, I am targeting the first element. I have to make this as 0. Now, to make that 0, I am just writing R1, R2 besides that element. Then 2 is in the second row, and hence I am changing the second row. The second row should be changed. How am I changing? I'll multiply 2 to R1 and 1 to R2. Okay, and also remember another simple thing that if I am having same signs in these two elements, if I am having same signs, then we use symbol minus. If I am having different signs, then we use the symbol plus. Do remember this. If you are having same signs, I am using minus. If you are having different signs, then I am using plus. These steps are applied only for making zeros. Okay. Now, continuing the operation, R2 changes to multiply 2 to R1, we get 2R1. Since we are having same signs, what I have to use? I'm using a negative sign. Then 1 time R2. Right? Now, this is nothing but the elementary row operation. We already know how to solve this. The first row remains as it is. Only the second row changes. That is 2 times. I'm making the working here. 2 times the corresponding R1 is 1 minus 1 into the corresponding element in R2 is 2. See, I have successfully got the element as 0. Now, for the second element, where we get the element as -1, and please don't forget, when you are applying the operation to the LHS matrix, you also have to apply the same operation for the RHS also, and hence we get, now as per our preference, I have made first element as 0. Now what is our second step? I'll move to this one. I have completed this. This was my first step. Now move on for the second step. I have to make this 0. Okay, targeting at that element, I'll write R1, R2 besides that element. Now multiply these two. 3 is in the first row and hence R1 changes to 3 times R2. Now look, you are having different signs here. If I'm having different signs, we need to use the symbol plus 1 time R1. Fine, we have got the operation now. Now simplifying that, we get, fine. Now we have got an equation, made the secondary diagonal elements successfully zeros. Now after the second step, we move on for the third step. That is making the first element of the diagonal elements as 1. Now in this problem, we are already having 1 in the first element, so no need to change that. Now move back to the next element. We have to make this is our fourth step, and we have to make that as 1. But here we are having -1. To make that +1, I'll just multiply R2. I'll just multiply R2 with a -1. Fine, or you can also divide R2 by -1. Then we get, now we have I is equal to a new matrix, we call this as B, into A. This matrix B is nothing but the inverse of A and is given as 7 minus 3 minus 2 1. This is the inverse of the given matrix which we have obtained using the elementary transformations. Now we should solve the same question using elementary column operations. Fine. Now starting with A is equal to A into I. Now the pattern which I have used in the row operations remains same for the column operations also, and this condition also remains the same. As per our first condition, I need to make this element 0, hence this is in the first column, right? I'm changing the first column and again multiplying. The pattern remains absolutely same. Now C1 is changing to 2 times C2. Same signs, hence I put a minus 7 times C1. Hence we get the first column will be changing now. Now our next target is to make this element as 0. Again I put C1, C2, multiply these two. Hence C2 will be now changing as 3 times C1, different signs, and hence I use plus 1 into C2. After applying this operation, we are getting this equation. Now our target is to make these two diagonal elements as 1. Now in the first element, we have just got minus, we need to make it as +1. But in the second element, this element, there is 7 and I need to make it as 1. Now what shall we do? I shall just multiply the first column by a negative sign. I'll just make C2 column, divide C2 by 7. If I'm dividing the second column by 7, 7 by 7 retains as 1. Fine. Now after applying the operation, hence this is the identity matrix that we have got is equal to A into a new matrix that we have got, I is equal to A into B, where this B is nothing but the inverse of A, which is given by the matrix 7 minus 3 minus 2 1. Apply either elementary row operations or the column operations, you end up with the same answers. You might have also observed that for these problems we have used, for making zeros in the secondary diagonal elements, we have just subtracted or added 2 columns or 2 rows, and for making 1 in the diagonal elements, I have just divided by the given element as I have done here. If I'm having an element here, just divide by that element and you get obviously a 1. This is how you can convert a given matrix in the LHS as the identity matrix in just 3 steps and using this pattern. We have been given a matrix, and using elementary transformations, we need to find the inverse of this given square matrix of order 2 cross 2. We shall start with elementary row operations, starting with, as per the pattern, we start with this element, make this 0. I'll write R1, R2 here, multiply these two. I need to change R2 now. Now 2 into R1, since we are having different signs, we need to use plus 6 times R2. You can observe that the whole second row is containing every element as 0. In this case, you can conclude that the given square matrix will not have inverse. Always remember, either in the first step, in the middle or in the last step, if you are getting any row or any columns, all elements as 0, then you can conclude that the given square matrix inverse does not exist. In this module, we have learned how to find the inverse of a 2 cross 2 matrix. To find the inverse of a 3 cross 3 matrix using elementary transformations, do check the link given below in the description box. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.